Hello, dear viewers. Thanks for tuning in again. For the second episode of Fiction Talks, I decided to analyze the lyrics of one of my favorite songs of all time, The Kill by 30 Seconds to Mars. I've already mentioned this song in my previous video about Stanley Kubrick's film The Shining, where I talk about the psychological theme these two pieces of art share. So if you want to take a look at that video, I will link it down below. Before we start, I must mention that this is my own personal interpretation. I will back my ideas with some visual segments from the video, quotes from the songwriter, singing and director Jared Leto, and of course the lyrics of the song. However, if you have a different point of view, please share it in the comments. I would love to hear your guys' input. So let's begin. From the mind of the songwriter himself. The Kill is a song that a lot of people could hear and think was about a relationship with someone else. But it's really about a relationship with yourself. It's about confronting your fear and confronting the truth about who you are. Jared has also introduced the song by saying, "This song is called The Kill, but don't be scared. It's a nice song about losing your mind." With this info in mind, let's continue. In various forms of art, the conflict of man against self, or inner conflict, is depicted as two different people struggling or fighting one another, although in reality they are the same person. It is almost like if the person decides to mentally separate or disassociate from his worst self. Let's take for a moment the movie Enemy as an example, where the main character is trying to deal with his past mistakes and sees his worst self, in this case a frustrated actor and unfaithful husband, as somebody else, as a completely different person. Consequently, his mind starts to split. In The Kill, we have the same type of parallel, not only in the video but also in the lyrics. For comprehension purposes, I will refer as Other Jared to the singer's original self, the one who's trying to understand his thoughts and feelings, the one with the conflict. In the video, that could be the one who arrives at the hotel and only wants to relax and get lost, as he mentions in the intro. I will refer as Inner Jared to the singer's worst self, to the part of him that seems incomprehensible and the part that is obviously messing with his life, sanity, and emotions. In the video, that would be the elegant one he encounters after spending time in their version of the Overlook Hotel. In this first part, Outer Jared is asking Inner Jared these questions. It seems he has been dealing with emotional distress and he doubts he can continue that way. He seems to be almost on the edge and he cannot endure those problems anymore. He's basically asking Inner Jared what he would do when he finally gives up. This following part could be Inner Jared's answer for him. He's challenging Outer Jared to do something about him, to get rid of him, to kill him, to bury him. In the last line, Inner Jared says, "I am finished with you," believing or assuming that he's the stronger part or that he has already won and is in complete control. At this point, Outer Jared is seizing his options. He can fight now and face his demons, or he can beg for the rest of his life for either sanity, peace of mind, or happiness. The following lines are interesting. Outer Jared is actually starting to challenge Inner Jared. He mentions that he wanted more. More what? Perhaps courage? Guts? It could be implied once more that inner Jared perceives outer Jared as weak, as not brave enough to confront him. But outer Jared stays his ground. He wants to face him and mentions that running time is over. Now, outer Jared is demanding his worst self to look into his eyes and to see all the damage he has done to him. He's frontally accusing inner Jared of killing him and destroying him. Perhaps the actions, thoughts, or behaviors outer Jared attributes to his worst self have been really damaging for him or have ruined his life somehow. Please notice that in these lines the theme of self-destruction is pretty evident. After all, they are the same person. Jared is his own enemy. Right now is when we can actually make a visual interpretation of the lyrics. When the two Jareds face each other, outer Jared sings the line, "I try to be someone else," and inner Jared answers, but nothing seemed to change, alluding his attempts of getting better, getting rid of his worst self as a failure. Then, outer Jared realizes or addresses that inner Jared is a part of him deep down, despite all of his efforts to deny it. Inner Jared screams inside as a confirmation. In the last part, they both sing or scream along the most significant line of the whole song, "This is who I really am." This is the same line outer Jared typed over and over in the previous scene of the video. For me, this is the moment when the conflict is finally solved. Outer Jared embraces his worst self, and in the following scenes they sing along one after the other the same line, "Bury me." Let's stop for a moment to imagine how the conflict could have been solved with a different outcome. If Outer Jared could have been able to get rid of his worst self, the most obvious visual metaphor I can think of is murder. In the middle of that confrontation, Outer Jared could have killed, perhaps stabbed, Inner Jared till he's gone. After the most intense part of the video, we can see some more duality imagery in the dance ball, where everyone has a double. Actually, 30 seconds higher twins to create this fantastic illusion. Please notice how Shannon, Tom, and Matt confront their doubles as well in different ways. Shannon reacts in fear of the person he sees in the mirror, while Matt seems pretty chill and just toasts and drinks. To further emphasize the duality aspect, the screen starts to split and it duplicates the band members. During the last moments of the video, Jared seems visibly exhausted and tired, like if all this path would have been too much for him. At the end of the song, he just repeats "What if I" 3 times, but never finishes, implying that there is no way out, no more options or hypothetical scenarios. While the background voice overlapping says "Bury me," and it stops. Concluded with a strong implication that Jared gave into insanity, perhaps developing a split personality, or living in a perpetual state of dichotomy like Harvey Dent. To conclude, guys, I would like to mention an interesting side note. The cover art for the song shows the Venus flytrap. The symbolic meaning of that is completely subjective, but in my opinion, it seems aligned with the idea of devouring something forever. Some people say that it symbolizes perception, a personal will, and empowerment. Others believe that it means seduction, the type that leads to suffering, but maybe I'm just overthinking now. Anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope Jared tells me one day if I got it right. I do believe he's a very talented songwriter, especially when it comes to the Beautiful Lie album. I like him, maybe too much. Please comment below what you think and see you in the next one. Bye!